I'm going to read a short piece by Dr. John Duffy that describes how a shift in his thinking completely transformed his reality. This is a client of mine, actually, and he's a psychotherapist in Illinois. John Duffy, a psychotherapist in LaGrange, Illinois, describes how last February he found himself in what they call a bit of a funk. I felt sluggish, exhausted really, and slightly under the weather, he says. I felt a little blue. I was dragging my feet. I was definitely not entirely present, so I knew I was missing moments, probably important ones. John recalls how he had spent the prior weekend skiing with families from his neighborhood, which should have been fun, instead was a blur. It had its moments, but overall was a blur, he recalls. The day before, I went to the funeral of a close family friend. I should have been fully present, aware of the moment, but really I wasn't. Mostly I was blush. John remembers asking himself, this is all circumstantial, right? Winter blues, cabin fever, stuff like that. It'll pass with time. Yep, just give it more time. Or am I dealing with something more insidious? Is this malign choice I'm making? Is this something I should just be able to shake? Is there something in my thinking that causes this state of mind, body, and spirit? But even as he asked himself these questions, he says he already knew the answer. Typically, we are unaware of it, but thoughts, all of them, are choices, he says. If we bring our thoughts into the realm of conscious awareness, we can usually do a more than adequate job of diagnosing the issues that take us out of the game. We can then think about how we think. Do we tend to focus on the negative, the foreboding, and the stressful? Yeah, then we're going to find ourselves out of the game more often than not. But wait, he remembers thinking, if he could ask himself those questions, he knew he should be able to give himself a self-exam. Ta-da, a little self-exam and I've righted my world, John says, sweet. But he realized that his world still felt fuzzy and dim. No, see, what I had to do is think something different. He needed a little redo of his initial thoughts. So he revised his thoughts about that weekend. I had the good fortune to ski this weekend. Even with a body a bit under the weather, even with the economy and the shape it's in, I skied. I breathed in the fresh, cool northern Michigan air on a nearly perfect ski day. I watched my wife master the chairlift with delight. I marveled at my son's strength and ease on the hills, and heard the unabated joy of his laughter with his sweet friends. And I had the privilege this weekend of honoring the memory of a remarkable woman. Marlene Scholl was not a constant presence in my life, but she made me feel good when we were together. The limitless generosity of her family afforded me the opportunity to go to grad school as a new father strapped for cash. Without them, I would not be seeing my clients today. I would not have the tools to help the people I help today. And Marlene suffered far too long. I surely believe she is resting in a quiet, gentle peace. And in a strange way, I'm grateful for that. And I pray for better, easier days for her husband Bob and her extended family. Maybe a shift in perspective and a little gratitude can go a long way, what John's experience showed him. Just knowing that, he says he felt better almost immediately. So that has absolutely been my experience with practicing gratitude. What I do is I shift my thoughts around. So for instance, just something as mundane as walking into the kitchen and noticing that once again the task of unloading the dishwasher has been left to me. If I instead shift my thoughts and think, I'm so grateful to have a dishwasher and I'm so grateful for clean dishes, then my mind completely goes from a resentful state to a really grateful state. So it's just something that you just need to practice all day long. Also, another issue is that of entitlement. You know, we live in the society where we're always looking to get the next thing, or, you know, we're focusing on getting a raise, or we need a new car. You know, when we feel entitled, we're not really noticing everyday gifts. You know, we take good things for granted. And then another thing that I love about practicing gratitude is it really helps to put me in the moment. I've always been such an incredibly busy person, raising 2 kids, working full-time. I had, you know, a really long to-do list. I was always focused on the future. When we stop to give thanks, it helps us to be in the present. And I've always had a problem with that. I mean, you know, I've taken yoga for years and I've tried very hard. I've read many, many, many books on how to meditate, but I've always had a problem with just slowing down my mind. So when you stop and you take a walk and you just think grateful thoughts, it helps you to really be in the moment and notice the beauty around you and hear the birds and feel the breeze and just notice how, you know, great life is. So when you're happier also, you attract abundance. We think we'll become happier if something good happens to us, but it's actually the other way around. You know, I find that by practicing gratitude, good things happen all day. And in fact, in the book, there are stories about people's, you know, the serendipitous things that happen throughout the day just through being in the moment and being grateful